Okay, welcome back. Today we're going to be discussing the difference between parallel and perpendicular lines and how their slopes indicate what type of line they are. And then we're going to create lines that are parallel to a specific line and a line that is perpendicular to a specific line. Now, in the prior activity, you discussed and discovered what parallel lines have in common, and they have the same slope. So that's very important. So if I'm looking at a regular equation slope-intercept form, and I look at the slope um, as m. Okay, in that case, it is the number in front of x, which is 4. So if I wanted to write a line that is parallel to y equals 4x plus 2, it's going to look very similar. The only thing that is going to be different is my y-intercept. So my y-intercept is going to be different. So that number is going to be different. That number and x is going to be the same. So it's going to start out as y equals 4x, and it's going to be plus or minus anything. It's going to be a line that is parallel to y equals 4x plus 4. So if I was going to write something, it would look something like this. So it would be y equals 4x, say minus 2. Right, 4x minus 2. That's the line that's parallel to y equals 4x plus 2. Let's look at number 2. So what's my slope? My slope is negative 2, right? Change colors. My slope is negative 2, right? So now I want to write a line that's parallel to y equals negative 2x plus 1. So it's going to look like y equals negative 2x plus or minus anything. In this case, I'm going to say y equals negative 2x plus 3, right? That 3 could be anything you want it to be as long as the slope is negative 2. Good. And lastly, I have y equals 1/4 x plus 12. My slope is 1 over 4. It's right there. I want to write an equation that's parallel. It's going to be y equals 1 over 4x plus or minus anything. Let's say minus 1. Okay, so those are lines that are parallel. So you could write any line that's parallel as long as it has the same slope. Okay, good. Now, if I'm talking about something that's perpendicular, we discovered that they have opposite reciprocals, slopes. So the word opposite just means opposite sign. Reciprocal just means flip fraction. So like I said over here, it is different sign and upside down fraction. Different sign, upside down fraction. So if I have a slope of 1 over 2, my opposite sign, if my slope is positive, the opposite sign would be negative. So it would be negative. And my fraction is 1 over 2, so the reciprocal of 1 over 2 is 2 over 1. So if I had a slope of 1/2, a line that is perpendicular would have the slope of negative 2 over 1. Okay, good. Let's try another example. Negative 3/4. So if I have negative 3/4 as my slope of my first line, the opposite sign would be positive. Okay, and the reciprocal of 3 over 4 would be 4 over 3. Awesome. Okay, and number 6. If I just have an integer like 4, first I want to make it a fraction. So all I'm going to do is put it over 1. Okay, if that's positive, my perpendicular line is going to have a negative slope, and it's going to have the reciprocal of 4 over 1, which is 1 over 4. Awesome. Okay, so now I want to write a line that is perpendicular. Okay, write a line that's perpendicular to the following equations. So if I have y equals 3x plus 1, this is a little bit trickier, but it's not that much different. So if I have a slope of, in this case, 3, first you have to figure out what the perpendicular slope would be. So just like we did, if I have an integer, it's going to be 3 over 1. 3 over 1. So I'm going to start out as y equals. Okay. Now, the opposite sign, if my slope is positive, my perpendicular line is going to have a negative slope. The reciprocal of 3 over 1 is 1 over 3. And then it's x, obviously, and then it's going to be plus or minus anything. I'm just going to say plus 2. Okay, these are just any perpendicular lines. In my next couple examples, we have to get specific. Okay, lastly, we have y equals 1/4 x plus 2. My slope here is 1/4. So just like my prior example, it's going to be y equals the reciprocal slope. So if my slope is positive, my perpendicular is going to be negative. If I have 1 over 4, the reciprocal is 4 over 1. And then that is my slope. Okay, so it's going to be y equals negative 4 over 1x plus or minus anything. I'm just going to say minus 1. Okay, so now this is where it gets a little bit trickier. Okay, a little bit trickier. So now I want to create a specific parallel or perpendicular line. So I'm going to give you a line, and then I want you to construct a line that is parallel or perpendicular that goes through a given point. So we're going to follow some specific steps. Okay, in this case, the first thing we're going to do, step 1, we are going to graph the given line. So I'm always going to give you a line. So we went over this in prior sections. So if I give you y equals 2x minus 4, I'm going to begin at my y-intercept, which is negative 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, good. Now from that point, I'm going to move up 2 over 1. So up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. That's going to be my line. I'm going to connect him here like such. So that's my line. Okay, awesome. So that's my given line, which is y equals 2x minus 4. Then I am going to graph my given point. So my given point is negative 1, 1. So if you see here, negative 1, 1. So that's my given point. So I'm going to go ahead and graph that here. Awesome. So negative 1, positive 1 would be right there. I'm going to make that a different color. Let's go red. Okay, awesome. Okay, so now if I want a line that's parallel, okay, parallel right here, what do I know? I know that it has the same slope. So my slope here would be 2. So in this case, since I went up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, I'm going to do the same thing from my given point. So I'm going to go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, and that's going to construct my second line. So it's going to be up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. Okay, just like that. You could see that that line is parallel already. I'm going to construct that line like that. Move it over just a tad bit. Good. So now you can see that both of these lines are parallel, which means that they would never intersect. Awesome. I want you to pause the video and you can try example 2. Okay, awesome. So now I'm going to construct a line that's perpendicular. So this is going to be very similar, but I'm not going to use the same slope when I plot the second line. I'm going to use the perpendicular slope. So same thing. If I'm given a line, I'm going to want to graph that line. So graph the given line, which is y equals negative 2x plus 3. So when I go ahead and graph that, I'm going to graph that given line in black. Awesome. So my y-intercept is positive 3, 1, 2, 3, right there. My slope is negative 2 over 1. So it's down 2, right 1, down 2, right 1, down 2, right 1. Okay, and my slope is going to look something like, sorry, my line's going to look something like that. Okay, cool. So that's my given line. Now I'm going to graph my given point. My given point in this case is, let me use a different color, is 0, 3. Whoa, wayo. So 0, 3. So when I go ahead and graph that point, 0, 3 is right. 0, 3 is right there. Oops, let me use different colors. My apologies. 0, 3 is right there. Okay. Now from this point, I need to use the opposite reciprocal slope. So in this case, my slope is negative 2. So remember, my perpendicular slope, if that is negative, my perpendicular slope is going to be positive. Okay? And if my slope is 2 over 1, my perpendicular slope is going to be the opposite, which is 1 over 2. Okay, so 1 over 2. So that means from that point, I'm going to go up 1 to the right 2, up 1 to the right 2. So up 1 to the right 2 is right there, up 1 to the right 2 is right there, and right there. I'm going to take a line, go ahead and graph it like that. And you could see, there we go. And you could see that when they intersect, they form that 90-degree angle that we need, which is outstanding. That's that 90-degree angle that we need. You don't have to draw the 90-degree symbol, but just to show you that they do form 90 degrees at all 4 angles. Awesome. So like I said, you're going to go ahead and graph your given line, graph your given point, and then here you're going to use the perpendicular slope. So make sure you read the directions and what they're asking you. Number 4 is a money problem. Good luck, and I'll see you next time.